welcome to My Life's a Movie podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Artemis.
And it's your boy Dre. This episode, we have a camera set up, and I set this camera up because my father told me he wanted a video of me talking instead of just the blank screen. So I'm going to try and edit this together, but I've been editing the last two podcasts because our editor's not editing right now, he's busy. So I'm going to try and edit this on, but I don't know how to edit, and that's why the last two podcasts I've had very little to none when it comes to editing, and hopefully the quality hasn't been bad. I've been trying my best.
Well, we're taking baby steps. We started with one working mic, and then we slowly got to two mics. Now we have some video experimenting. We're doing our best.
Yeah, and then I have the podcast I did with Noah on my main channel, and that one is actually edited by me, and I put a thumbnail on it and everything, and I'm pretty proud of that, actually. But now I'm going to try and put a video on this, and that's an even bigger improvement. I think the thumbnail will probably still be the same. Maybe it'll have me on the thumbnail. I'm not sure how that'll work, but it'll be the same thing. I'll be putting this onto the playlist and everything, and there should be now a video of me so that you can see me talking. That should be a lot more fun. And then this episode, we're going to dedicate to talking about a whole lot of relationship stuff, because that's what's been on both our minds recently. We're going to talk about just like, what makes a relationship.
What breaks a relationship.
Catching feelings.
Oof.
Falling out of feelings, all that. So it's going to be a little bit of fun. But I mainly want to like kind of start off by asking, because I was thinking about this in my own head, like what makes a relationship? Like other than like you officially saying, will you go out with me? Like there's the steps going up, which leads to you like when we were talking about what is what is catching feelings?
So, does that even make it a relationship? With one of my previous relationships, we never officiated it. And I told him that later on. I was like, hey, you never asked me out. And he's like, but I kissed you. And we started going out, right?
Yeah, so some people have like different standards, but for me, it's not a relationship if it's not official. Like
Okay.
both people can have feelings, and that kind of makes it like, it feels like you should be more loyal and exclusive if you both have feelings and you both think you have feelings, but it's like one person could not have feelings. So that's where it's like the communication is so important in relationships, where you need to communicate to me that you have feelings for me, or you need to communicate that you don't, or that you want something serious or not, because in my last relationship, we both had feelings for each other, but I did not want a relationship because of what she had put me through. So I was not interested in a relationship with her. And I was like, we need to grow and move past this and get to a better point in our lives. And I was like, I'm doing okay, but I don't like where you are, and you're not someone I want to date as you are, but you keep improving and stuff, and that's why I like you. But it got to the point where she got so attached to the feelings and like wanting to have that label. She just wanted that from me for some reason. Like she couldn't get over that. And I was like, it's fair to want a relationship from two people that like each other, and it's like you basically do everything of a relationship, but it's still fair for me to say I don't want one. And if that's something that's a problem with you, you need to talk to me about it instead of pretending to be okay with it. So when she does stuff like that, like I'm upset. Like I'm telling you officially, I'm communicating my side that I don't want a relationship. But you're not having a conversation back with me telling me that you do want one. You're just like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like you're playing such a passive role. Like you gotta
I understand.
be a relationship, right? Like it's a co-op effort. Like people try and like sacrifice themselves so hard for relationships, and I just don't get it. Like you need to just be in a relationship. You need to co-op. You need to work together. Like you need to care for each other. Like,
Well, something that bothers me, I think that breaks the relationship is I've experienced someone like being so in their head, but communicating about like really on the surface things that I think they're being super upfront, and then I'll get bombarded with a bunch of feelings that I didn't even know they had.
yeah, like some people are just like bottle certain stuff up. Like anything that's past surface level, they bottle up. They're like, oh, we can't talk about this. And
Yeah.
it's like, what are you talking about? We can talk about this. We can always talk about everything that's going on in our relationship and like who you are and all that. But it's like, don't pretend to be more okay than you are. Like it's okay to not be okay and be like, hey, I want to get therapy, I want to do it, but don't put that on me. Like if you're fucked in the head, you got depression, any of that, like my ex did, and she put a lot of that on me. Like she took a lot of her feelings and anger and yada yada all that on me
And that's
because
not healthy.
she didn't have insurance anymore, so she couldn't afford to go to a therapist. And it's like, okay, that's how it is, but then now I'm becoming your therapist and stuff, and it's like, okay, that's not. You should be single in your life right now, and you should go work on yourself, get your job, get your life together, and go get a therapist and better yourself before you're in a relationship, because you're not ready. You're not at a point in life when you're ready. Like you might want to think that you are because you're at a young age, you're at like a dating age, everyone else is dating and stuff, but it's like it's unfair to your partner. Like what she would be doing is unfair to me. Like I was not happy with how she was treating the relationship, because at this point we're not even dating, and she's putting a lot on me about taking care of her and like making sure her mental's good when she's having down, when she's like on a mental breakdown, like all that. Like I had to be there for her, and she would be on my phone all the time, and then every time she saw me in person she would fall in love again, and then when she'd go home she'd hate me. So it was like a vicious cycle that I was a part of, because my love language was physical touch. So every time we saw each other, she gave me my love language. Like she would hug me, she'd kiss me, she'd tell me she loved me and all that, and I was like, oh, we're good. And then she would go home, and then now she'd spew all the shit over text saying that like, she just doesn't think I'm there for her. She thinks I'm playing her and that. And I'm like, but I was pretty sure I was the one getting played at that point. After looking back,
Yeah. I can kind of understand, because I can distance myself from people, and usually it's a lot easier for me to let go of someone when I cut all ties. I distance myself and I heal faster, and everything. It doesn't just go away. I don't just cut it out of my life, but it's easier for me to deal with things and be alone. And when I like face the person, I just can't get rid of those feelings. Like all of those feelings resurface, and I just don't know what to do with them. I will actively avoid people because I'm afraid of what impulsive decision I might make. And I don't even often do those. It's just the fear of what I could do and what mess I could make.
yeah. I mean, I understand that feeling, and that's why I'm like, what is a relationship? Because what me and her had, like, I'm pretty sure that's basically a relationship. We did everything that was a relationship. It just wasn't official. Like we were both loyal to each other and stuff, and if either person cheated, the other person would have been super upset and stuff. So I could have put that label on it, but I always felt like if I did, I would have to break up with her again, and that's not something I wanted to do, because I felt like what we had couldn't last if nothing changed, and it felt like nothing changed because we'd argue over the same stuff, we'd get in fights, and we'd like break up or like stop talking to each other over the same things over and over, and I was like, there's no way this works. There's no way, because I would have to be like, it would be every week we'd be together and broken apart and stuff, and that's not what I'm with.
Yeah.
And I don't like to take people back in general, right? Like I prefer to like, okay, we date, it doesn't work, I want to move on to someone else. Like I want to take what I learned and move on to someone else. So if I'm doing that, and now I'm with a girl that I break up with, and you want to get back together, I'm very reluctant to do that. And I almost got back together with her, but I ended up not, and I think that was for the best.
I never want to be in a relationship where we break up and make up and break up and make up.
Exactly.
I understand, like, a mistake. If one of you makes a mistake, like, getting back together is not my issue. It's when it's a habit, or it's a go-to, or things aren't working and you guys are just, like, in this cycle. That's what I don't want. If I break up with you, and say we get back together once and we break up again, it's
no
not
shot.
gonna happen.
No shot.
Unless, I mean, maybe it's 50 years later. Maybe we're old and you're like, hey, still got the hots for you.
Imagine you're in the fucking
We'll get matching
old person home.
We'll get matching rocking chairs.
That shit would be so funny.
But no, I don't want to be in that kind of relationship. If it's over and we both admit it's over, then
yeah, that's, I mean, I think I talked about this on a different podcast where it's like, you can't be I don't think you can be friends with someone you're still in love with.
Mhm.
and like you both need to split apart for the healing process. Like I think that that's really important. So I feel like you couldn't be friends with each other if you're split apart like that. Otherwise, you go through this back and forth stuff because that's what it felt like with her. If I split things off and just left it where it was, because that's what I originally did. I broke up with her and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. But she hit me up and she was like, hey, I want to come and talk to you about something, and like she wanted to like give me my hoodies or some shit, whatever. I
Mhm.
wasn't tripping, but whatever. So I go over, and then we talk a bunch of shit out, and she gives me like this letter and stuff that's like, it's like to my future husband and shit and all that, and it's like okay, and then I'm like okay, fine, I'll try it. So I left her. I was like, bro, I'm not sure. I'm like, what? I'll send you a text on how I feel. I was like, let me think it through. So I went to work because I had work that morning, but she called me over and I was like, fine, I'll come over. Went over, talked to her, and then I went to work and I thought about it and I called my mom. I was like, hey, ma, what should I do? And she's like, bro, just do what you want. I'm like, fuck it, I'll try it. So I tried to stay around with her for a while more, but that ended up not working out, and then I got hurt from that. So I think that, like, you can give it another try, but it's like I got hurt again. I should have left after that, right? After I got hurt again, I was like, okay, now I'm done. Now I
Yeah.
realize that this is a cycle. Like, if I do this again, no way. But I was just being a kid, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and I did it again. It was like fucking every week. And that shit went on for like months. And then I was like, okay,
Yeah, that's
I'm
past
done.
the point.
I was
That's
like,
way past
what?
the
I was
point.
like, what the fuck am I doing? And so I dipped, and then I haven't looked back since. And like, her looks haven't improved, her personality hasn't improved, so it's like I ain't got nothing to regret.
Well, you're happy too in your current
Yeah, that
relationship.
shit fire, bro.
Nice. You said you guys like had a good time this week. You're like, I don't remember what happened,
I have no,
but
I have no clue what we do when she comes over. Cause every Monday she comes over, and like I asked her, I was like, "Do you want to go on a date? You want to go out somewhere?" Like, like I feel like a bad boyfriend because all we do is come over to my house and do nothing every week. But that's like what she wants to do, and I'm like,
mhm.
oh, okay. I'm like, what, bro? You save me money, I guess. And then
She's
she
a
would,
cheap date.
yeah, I don't know if her love language is physical touch or like quality time. And it's super hard to figure out because like she wants to come over and spend time with me. She wants to spend the whole day with me basically. But then she also doesn't like want to do stuff. She just wants to sit in the room and like lay next to each other and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, because like she comes over and then we go in my room and we close the door and that's it. Literally the entire day. Like we spend 12 hours together. It's like from like, it's usually maybe like more 1 p.m. because I always fucking waste my time in the morning and like I'm behind by like an hour and
Oh,
stuff.
me too. Me
But
too.
like she goes home at 11 or like I guess 10:10 because she has to be home at 11. But like she comes over at like 1. She's supposed to come over at like 12, so I guess it's like 10, 9 hours we spend together. But like we don't do anything. Because normally what I want to do is I want to invite her over and then sit here and watch movies in this room with the
Mhm.
pool table and then the big TV and then
Like the
pull out the
loft.
chair. Yeah, pull out. Yeah, this is the loft. And then
Mhm.
pull out couch and lay down there and watch movies together. But she just wants to go in the room and it's like I have no clue what I'm doing. Like I don't know how I'm not super bored every time, but for some reason I'm just not bored. And we sit there and we do nothing, and then I have a good time, and then I do it next week too. And there's
I
like
feel that
occasional
though.
times that we'll go on a date, and it's like next Monday she'll probably have to come over a bit later because I have a midterm on that
Mhm.
Monday. It's from like 11 to 12:45 or something, and then I would have to take a shower and that, and then she can come over.
Mhm.
So she'd be over at like 2, but I guarantee we're gonna do the same thing.
Does she drive?
She do.
Oh, for sure.
And she don't let me come pick her up because her dad doesn't know we're dating still.
Oh, okay.
But she doesn't have a great relationship with her dad.
So it's like,
Yeah. I mean, her mom knows, so she comes over, and it's like she doesn't let me like doing that. But I do all the other driving, so it's like whatever. But
okay.
her friends are cool. Like, if your significant other has cool friends, like that's such.
A white. What is it? It's not a red flag. It's like
It's like the
yes.
opposite. It's the opposite of a red flag. Like that's so
It's a
cool.
green arrow.
Yeah, it's a green arrow.
Yes.
Cause her friends are cool, cause like they think I'm cool. And I'm like, if you like me, I like you. If you don't like me, I don't like you. So I'm always vibing because we hang out and stuff, and then I get to tell jokes, and they laugh, and then like I just get to be a white boy surrounded by a bunch of Asian guys and girls, and I'm like, pfft, like
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm just the center of attention. So it's a blast for me, and I have a great time. That I kind of do whatever I want, and then we go to the arcade, and that's where I originally kind of met her friends, and then we went out to eat a couple times. We went to Korean barbecue, and then went to this nice place, which I actually have a recording on my phone of, where it was like it reminds me of like because it was a Korean little restaurant thing, but it reminds me of like those K-dramas and stuff, where it's got like the nice neon lights around signs and stuff, and I was like, yo, this place is aesthetic as heck. And then we got like bulgogi and rice cakes.
Oh,
And then what are those little mochi ice cream they look like sandwiches and stuff?
Oh, are you talking about macaroons? Or
Macarons, thank you, yeah. Something like that.
Macarons?
Macarons, something like that.
Yeah.
But we had those too, and I was like, bro, this shit fire. Because we were just sitting there doing it, and then
They're so good.
yeah, because they have a button. You press a button, and it rings a little bell, and it brings the waiter over to you. So we just press the button, we'd order, then we press the button and order more, and then we'd press the button, and we had him come over and take a picture for all of us. But then, like, because my girlfriend, like, had the phone, and she handed it to him, and then he took a picture, but she didn't like how she looked in it, so we pressed the button again to get him to come over to go take another picture. And then we pressed the button again later to get the check, and we're like, yeah, we're calling him over to take another picture. But no, we're just messing with him. We're like, nah, we just want the check. And then she didn't let me pay. She didn't let me look at the bill. Like, I was like, yo, let me see it. And I'm tickling her, trying to get the bill off her, and she wouldn't let me. Which is cool that, like, I didn't have to pay, but, like, I preferred to pay. Like, for you and all your friends. Like, I'd prefer to pay. Like, but at least I know they ain't here for my money, right?
Yeah, that's good. You're making me hungry.
Did you eat today?
I did eat. I ate some like rolled tacos from like Roberto's. And then I stuffed my mouth with bread at work.
And then you almost threw some up, right?
I don't want to talk about that.
Came up in the throat.
It's because it was like warm, buttery, and I ate like 4 like little rolls.
I'm about to expose you real quick, because you would eat butter.
I would eat
like just straight butter sticks, like just
as long as it was salted.
Yeah, salted butter is like her thing, like, and like you know those little like, because they're super cool packages. I love them to death. The little square packages, and they're like cold. They're usually cold, and they bring you out at restaurants. It's like the little foil,
just, like,
and you pull it out, and it's the butter.
Roll.
Yeah, you butter yourself. She would just take it and eat it. Just.
I thought that was normal. I thought normal people did that.
Because you did that at school when they gave them to you, right?
Yeah, and they're all staring at me weird.
Yes, you're insane. You're absolutely. I don't know how you would do that.
My Nana taught me that.
Yeah, Nana's cool. So like I ain't got no credit with you eating your butter. Like go crazy, man. But
just
I'm still gonna call you out on how weird it is, because it's not normal to go and eat butter out straight, like raw.
Super
I think it's
unhealthy.
I think it's really unhealthy.
I don't do it like all the time.
I don't think it tastes good though. I don't know why.
Like, it's mainly like when I'm like cooking a big meal. Like if I'm cooking Thanksgiving and I pull out the salted butter sticks and I'm like, I'm gonna just cut off a slice.
I do that with cheese though, right?
Oh,
and
I love cheese.
Yeah, but you're lactose intolerant, so
yeah,
you shouldn't love cheese.
Oh, but man, it is
so, like,
immaculate.
Yeah, when I'm grating cheese, I'll cut it into little fourths, because the fourths fit in the grater, and our grater is absolutely legendary. This thing is like, it's been around forever, and it's always grates cheese. It's perfect. It runs super well. Like my uncle Noah, he would buy graters all the time, trying to find one that works as well as the one we have, but they can't find it, and the one that we have is out of service. Like, they don't make it anymore. It's like $50-$60 to get online.
Wow.
Yeah, because they don't make it anymore.
What does it do?
But it's just cheese grater. So it's like automatic. It's like, and
I didn't know they made automatic cheese graters. I'm jealous.
Well, it's like mechanical. It's not automatic. Like, you have to put the cheese in and then push it down, but it grates the cheese. But you don't have to do that.
That's what I do.
Thing. You don't have to do that. You don't have to hand grate it. So he has to hand grate his, but we still have ours. Ours is legendary. But when I cut the cheese, I cut it into the little fourths because fourths fit. It's about fourths. You have to cut it pretty nicely, or maybe it's like sixths, something like that. But it's like you cut it up like that, and then like before I put the stick into the grater, because now you have like a long, skinny, like square, and I just chop off a couple slices and just throw one in. I start grating it, and then before the next one, throw another one in, then grate it, and then another one, and it's like, and that's what it is. And then like, you probably shouldn't do it, but like whenever I pull out the cheese to put cheese on anything, like made an omelet, whatever, yada yada, pull out the cheese to put it on, like after I'm done with the cheese, I grab a little another bite, just take a bite of the grated cheese. Oh, smacks, man.
I do that too, but usually like I'll put more on my plate, so I'll like put the cheese away and I'll grab it off my plate, so it's like less weird for the rest of the house. But I know you like live with your immediate family. Like there's more than my immediate family at my house.
Yeah, that's why I would not want to live with my brother, because he's an absolute menace. This man takes the milk raw, bro. He just so you got the milk, right?
Yeah.
And you open it, and then you pour it in a cup, and then you drink your milk, right?
Yeah.
So this man, all fucking huge, built like a machine, go walk up to the fridge, open it. Oh, here's a 2-gallon milk. Let me open it.
No
Close it.
way.
Put it on. I hate
that. Makes me mad.
I think that's the reason I don't like milk, right? I will not drink milk at all. It's so nasty, bro. So he does that, and he's just a vibe. He's like, and I call him out every time I see him. He's like, I don't care. Goes to his room. I'm like, bro, please.
That makes me so uncomfortable.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm
glad I'm lactose intolerant and never drink milk in your house.
Yeah, so I never touch the milk. Never touch the milk unless I have to. I'm making some mac and cheese, which I made some mac and cheese the other night, actually. And I thought of you, except for it was the Cheetos mac and cheese.
Oh,
and that shit hit different.
Was it good?
It was aight.
Okay.
It was aight. So I made it, and I was like, okay. But then I had to use the milk, and I'm like, oh, bro, not the milk. Because I don't trust the milk. I can never trust milk.
You don't have to put milk. You can put extra butter. And it does the same thing. If you just put a little bit more butter than it asks for.
Listen, I follow directions.
Okay.
I'm a good boy. Every direction, I follow directions. You gotta tell me what to do, but if you tell me what to do, I do what you say to do.
Okay.
And that's where some people, like girls, drive me nuts. Because they'll tell you to do something, but they don't mean it. And they'll say, they'll say, I'm fine. And then when I believe it, they're like, you shouldn't believe it. I'm like, bro, are you serious?
I mean, at least, like, when you ask me, like, you can tell me, like,
Yeah, at least you ain't lying, because I believe what you say.
I'll give you a look, be like,
So if you say to me, I'm fine or I'm not mad, I believe you're not mad. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, you're not mad. But, like, with my girlfriend, she don't do that. She do that girl shit where she like, I'm fine. So every time she says, I'm fine, I always say, I don't know what that means. I'm like,
yeah.
So I always say it I'm like, bro, I don't know what that means, but so I say something like that, and that always gets her so that she says either, because if she says I'm good or I'm okay, I believe that. But if you say I'm fine, no shot. Could mean anything. Could mean anything.
You're right, though. You're right. I was talking to someone, and they asked me, they're like, hey, are you okay? And I said, well, I'm kind of mad, but I don't want to talk about it. And they're like, you can't do that. You should have just said you were fine then.
Yeah, it's like, it depends on the person.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because it's like, it also depends on how you say it. Because if you say, I'm fine, but I don't want to talk about it, you say it like that, that's a A. That's a A. Come on. Press me for this. Get it out of me. It's like, well, I'm not actually doing that too great, but, don't worry about it. I'll talk to it with someone else. It's all good. Like, you say something like that, like, you more of like a genuine about it, and that's how you not talk about it. They're like, oh, I care. You can really talk to me if you want to. But if they're like, no, now you gotta talk about it. They say something like that, it's like, bro, don't make me repeat myself, man. I said I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, I'll talk about it with someone else. I'll handle it later, man. Like, this is not a here and now conversation. This is a like,
Maybe
you ask
later.
me if I'm fine. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. But it's like, if we're at a function, at like a family function, like out and about, I'll hit you with an I'm fine. I'll take care of this later, right? But if it's just me and you, mano y mano, tell me. Like, be real. If you like, just let me know what's up, darling. Kitty came to visit us, and I just don't like that shit that girls do, because it's like, it's just me and her. at the house doing nothing, and you're not gonna tell me if you're fine or not. Like, if you're doing okay, you're just gonna hit me with an I'm fine. Come on. If we're out and about with your friends, I ask you if you're okay, and you don't say nothing. Okay.
Does she know that though?
Yeah, I air out my. I keep my mouth moving. I communicate everything, man.
Okay.
Like I don't say stuff you shouldn't say, right? Like
Yeah.
like weird thoughts that pop in your head. You know, I think before I talk. I think before I act and all that. But except for one time I didn't, and I got away with it because I maneuvered my way out of the situation.
What did you do?
But like she said to me, she said I was mad earlier. She said, I was mad earlier, and like the first thing that came to my mind, I just blurted it out because I didn't think at all, and I was like, yeah, I know I didn't care. So I said that to my girlfriend. I was like, fuck. I was like, I need to get out because I was like, no, I'm joking. I said, I'm joking. Yeah, why were you mad? I didn't know you were mad at me, right? And then I was like, why were you mad, baby? Like, what was wrong? So, so I'm like, why the fuck? I was like, get me out.
So why did I say that?
Yeah. So now I was like, all right, I need to not dig this grave deeper. I was like, I need to like immediately backpedal. I was like, all right, let me maneuver in a different direction. So I distracted her by getting her to talk about what made her mad. But she just said that she was mad from me like having big gaps in my text. I don't remember what I was doing. I think I was probably just playing video games or something. She was like, yeah, I was mad because you weren't. Oh, it's because I fell asleep.
Oh.
Yeah, because like I woke up for class because I have an alarm for class, and I sent her a text, and then I joined my class and I passed out during my class, and then I woke up at like 1 p.m. and I was like, yeah, I got like four messages from her, and I'm like, she's like, hey, are you done? Did you go get your oil change? Like, because I was supposed to go get an oil change at 8 in the morning and then go to my class and then see her.
Yeah.
And I didn't get up until 1. So then I went to go get the oil change, and I was like, yeah, I'm on my way to the oil change now. I didn't get out of the oil change till like 2. And then I'm home, and then she comes over, and I'm like, so she was mad about that. But I thought she was mad about something that happened during the day, because it could be anything, man. Because I was downstairs eating food, talking with my parents, and she was upstairs with the cat, because she didn't want to come out. She's shy or something. I really don't know how girls' brains work. Like, she's sitting up there with the cat instead of coming down and hanging out. Like, you can bring the cat down. Like, so, and then I asked her if she was going to eat. She said she'd eat later, and then she never ate. She said she wasn't hungry. I'm like, bro, I can't trust what you say.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think stuff with girls like that, that's just surface level stuff, right? Where they do stuff like that, where it's like I don't know, like, I'll come eat later, but they mean I'm not hungry, I'm not interested, stuff like that. Like,
it's usually not that deep.
yeah, I figure it's not a deep thing, but if it is, like, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, if it gets to, like, serious shit and, you lying to me, like, I don't fucking like that. Because I hate lying. Like, that's my biggest annoyance.
I only do the I'm fine thing if we're out or if we're in front of people. I also don't like, people have asked me before in front of other people, like, hey, you're acting weird. And I'm
bro,
like,
come on, don't call me out right now.
yeah, don't do that in front of other people. They think I'm acting fine.
I'm fine, don't worry about it.
Or I'll be like, what are you talking about? Are you okay?
Yeah, you gotta flip it on them and be like, hey, yeah, what's up now? What's up with it?
Oh, we dueling?
We go now we scrapping. Don't call me out in front of the other people, man. Come on. It's a private affair, man. You can ask me, like, whisper to me, hey, you acting weird, you alright? Like, something like that. Like, you come up to them, like, catch them at a moment. Like, that's okay, but, like, oh.
In front of a group?
The whole group? Not a whole group? No, I'm pissed off now? Okay. Okay, now I'm about to make it everybody's problem. What's up?
Yeah, now everyone knows I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed at you.
Like, don't call me out, man. Because I usually don't, like, at functions and stuff, I'm usually, like, really good. Because I'm the DD, everyone else is, like, drunk, whatever, like, a little bit high, whatever it be. Like, so I'm, like, constantly flowing around making sure everybody's okay. And it's like, but I'm not calling you out because I got the brain of a normal human being where I'm like, hey, shouldn't call you out in front of the group. So I see someone acting weird, I'm like, hey, you alright?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, alright, for sure. And then I'm gone. That's where it's like, if you said, no, I need something right there, like, that's your moment. But your opportunity's passed now. Now, if you were not okay and you told me you were fine, it is your problem
it's
now.
too late.
Like, it is no longer a me and you situation. That is a you situation. Don't bother me with it no more. But it's like, Christian, he wanted to go for his little joyride last time we had the party. And that was like, he asked for it and he was like pressing for it. And I'm like, fuck, I don't really want to go for a joyride, but I was like, well, this is my boy, and he wanted to sing and songs and shit. I was like, fuck it. I was like, let's go. Because everyone else was leaving. I was like, this is kind of like the down part of the party. Like, this is hard to pass. Like, this is like a hard bill to pass. But it ended up just being me and him that went on the ride because everyone else was like going home, and then the rest of the boys stayed at the house. But we never got to play Tom's game, which I still want to play.
Poor Tom.
Nah, he had a good time.
Oh,
he was. We were on the phone call the other night, and he was telling us about when we were all at the party, and he got to watch he called it a play in 3 acts, and the curry versus soup debate was the 3rd act of the play. And it was so funny how he described it. I was like, yeah,
that's hilarious.
That was what the party was. It was a party in 3 acts. Yeah.
Well, speaking of DD, I guess this is a stretch, but I'm trying and cutting out caffeine out of everything.
I'm extremely proud. I've been off caffeine for 4 years, something like that.
I didn't know it was that long.
A very long time.
I think it has been just a couple days for me.
It'll be hard for a while.
Yeah, I crave sugar.
Yeah, I ain't take sugar like I have a sugar tooth.
I was laying in bed last night and I just really wanted a brownie. Like just like a chocolate fudge brownie. Maybe I still do want that, but see, I wasn't about to make brownies.
The way my mind works is I don't trust anything that like I've had such a skewed perspective on drugs in my life where like I've had such a hate relationship on drugs, like all drugs. Like I hated pharmaceuticals, I hated aspirin, like I hated everything. Like just because drugs were like demonized in my mind. I hated them beyond anything, beyond all belief. Now like I understand more, I learn more. I don't hate them as much. I'm more of like okay, I don't like this one, I don't like that, I don't like hard stuff like weeds, I eat whatever, and then like alcohols, I like they all get passes from me. But then when it comes to brownies, every time I see brownies, I think weed. So I like brownies a lot, but when I see brownies, I don't want to eat them. Unless I'm the one that makes brownies, I do not want to eat them.
So I'm just talking about a brownie, bro. Like just
you talking about normal brownies, but I thought of like because we'll make brownies in the house, and they'll be downstairs on the counter. And I see them and I'm like, nope.
Do I know?
I'm like, nope. And I'll ask my family and be like, hey, these infected brownies? Are these the special brownies? And they're like, nah, they're fine. And I still won't eat them. Like,
I don't trust it.
I just, it's just such a skewed mindset because I've just hated them all my life. I've hated all drugs all my life. So it just changed how my mind works. So now I don't like stuff like brownies and then like other foods like butter and stuff. Like it has to be the butter on the plate. Like if I just see some random ass butter in like a plastic container, I'm gonna be like, hey, is this from camping or what? Like I have to know where this came from now. Like I got my trust issues with drugs. So
well, you want to hear a story?
You got a story about drugs?
Well, Thanksgiving, I was over at my dad's side of the family. And my cousins are all in the kitchen. Not all of the elders are there yet, so we're just hanging out. And one of my cousins, her best friend, she's like, hey, do you want one? And they're just like a bunch of like, it's like a whole bag. She's pulling out like some cookies, some Rice Krispie treats, like some other stuff, and it looks bomb. And so
it was bomb.
She's handing it out. And my cousin says, yeah, she does. So she just, like, took a piece for me, like, and it was just, like, a little Rice Krispie bar, but it looked like caramel drizzle on the top and some M&Ms maybe. And so I ate a piece and I'm like, this is good. And I ate the whole thing. And then her husband walks in and he's like, oh, does she know that they're special? No, she did not know.
Were you hallucinating? Were you at that level of high?
So when everyone else came, like, after Thanksgiving, man, I scarfed down, like, 3 servings on my plate. And then I sat on the couch, and I couldn't move. And I was just, like, I was smiling, like, a weird smile, and I had a blank look on my face. Like, one of my other cousins, he's like, are you high? And I was like, I feel fine.
You were just high out of your mind.
Like, too much. I was there all day, because I couldn't couldn't leave. I couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
I just told everyone I was tired.
Because when I turn 21, I'll take edibles, and because I'll never smoke anything in my life. I'll never put any smoke in my lungs, unless it's like required for some medical shit. Like I'm not that like situation to situation.
Like
I
you
don't
mean an inhaler or
I
something?
don't know any. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
all specifics of like there's no absolutes, but like I will never smoke nicotine, never smoke weed, any of that. But it's like I would still do weed because like that's a big part of like my family and stuff and other people and culture I've been around. I do it for the culture basically. So I'm like, okay, I'll take an edible when I'm 21, but like edibles hit way harder than smoking. Cause it's like you can smoke and you could smoke like trash bags of weed and like constantly be smoking, and you can never smoke enough to like overdose or to like hallucinate. But if you take an edible, if you take too much of an edible, you can hallucinate. Like it hit way different. It's a lot more and it hits a lot harder. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing my research.
That's why me and Tino just took bites.
Yeah, I would take like half a serving of like what you're supposed to do, or maybe like 1/4.
Well, if you ever come to like one of my Thanksgiving parties and they offer you a Rice Krispie treat, I mean, you know what you take if you say yes.
I'm just like, oh wow, you got M&Ms on that? All right, let me. And I start just chugging them, bro. I'd be dead.
I just shoved the whole thing in my mouth. Maybe if I went a little bit slower.
That's what, bro. Like this is a small pet peeve I have because it's not like at that level, but it's like basically what it is like when people take not cookies, but like popcorn or Takis or chips, and they eat more than one at once, and it's like they're surprised that it runs out so fast. You ate more than one at once. It would last a lot longer
You took one
if
at
you
a
just
time.
eat one at a time. Just eat one at a time. It'll last longer. You'll enjoy it the same. It's no different. It literally tastes the same.
I don't know.
So, but people are like, I swear it tastes different. No, you was just hungry, bro.
You know what I want?
You just want your mouth full.
I want some Oreos and milk.
That sounds good, actually.
That
I haven't
sounds
had
like
Oreos in a while, and that sugar rush, I can go for that.
I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm just dreaming about Oreos.
I need
We're
to-
talking about food.
I need to gain mass, not weight, but mass. Like I need to
Yeah.
eat some more chicken and stuff. Like my mom, she made some nice food tonight. I don't know what it is. It was like ravioli-esque. Like
Ooh.
I don't know, but it was like not ravioli. It was like kind of like the opposite. It was like a cold thing.
Oh,
I got no clue what she made,
but it
but
was good.
it looked like I wouldn't like it. So I looked at it and I was like, bro, because I went down and because I smelled we made food. I went down. My dad called me down. He wanted to talk to me about the podcast. So I go downstairs. I see that there's food on the table. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what that is. But I go out. I talk to him for a while. Then his friend calls him, so he's on the phone. I just head inside. I check the food. I look at it and I'm like, nah.
That
I
looks
was like,
sus.
this looked like I wouldn't like it. So I'm like, all right, let me head upstairs. And then I spend the whole day, and then it's like 8 p.m. comes around. And, the food's been out for like 2 hours. So maybe it's supposed to be served hot, but when I ate it, it was cold and it was good. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, let me try this. Let me just take a bite. Let me not be a pussy. So I pull out the fork, I grab it, I take a bite. I'm like, ooh. I was like, wait a second. I was like, this shit bussin'. Sheesh. Okay. So I fill up my plate with whatever the rest, because there wasn't much left, because it was good, and I could tell everybody else ate a lot. Because I was like, oh, okay, because we had like a whole tub basically full of them. It was like a little container or something like that, one of those things you put in the oven, and it was full of them. And then when I come down, there's like not even like 1/4. It was like 1/6, something, like barely any in there, but it was enough for like a serving. So I had my dinner right there, and I was like, I don't even gotta make dinner now. Say less. I think I'll still go make a little ramen because we have those microwave ramen.
Oh, that sounds good.
Because I cannot sleep. I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule, but I'm doing it the slow way. I was supposed to stay up for 24 hours today, but I was too tired, and I was like, bro, I'm just gonna sleep. But I'm not gonna go to bed today because I went to bed at 11 a.m.
Oh.
Yeah, today.
So when are you gonna go to bed?
So now I'm gonna go to bed at like 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Do you work tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to work. When I get home from work, I'm gonna go to bed. I get off at like 6, get home, go to bed, and then my sleep schedule will be fixed now. because then the next day I can go to bed at like 10.
Okay,
And now
that's
I
true.
can go to bed at 10 p.m. every day.
Mhm.
I just need to make it through work, basically. Because I originally was going to bed at like 5 a.m. and I was like,
Yeah.
this can't do. So I stay up hard. Stay up hard till 11. I'm like, okay, now I can make it if I should just push hard to that 6. I was like, I can do it easy. I'll be like doped up on sugar though, but I'll get through it.
Okay, I believe you.
Take like a Powerade to work, and I'll go to the gym before work, so I'm like pumped, and I'm like, oh, okay, get the blood flowing, and then I
Okay.
have the after gym tiredness, but I can get through that with work, and then I get through that with work, and then go home, pass out, I'm fixed. Sleep schedule's back.
Okay,
And
at least
now,
you're doing something.
yeah, and now my girlfriend won't get mad at me because my phone's on silent and I'm not replying to her because I'm playing games at 4 in the morning, and she's like, I want to go to bed. I'm really tired. Can we go to bed now? And I'm like, yeah, let's go to bed. I send a text, and I go play games for another 2 hours. Because that's what I did. I was like, I want to feel bad, but I'm like, bro, I was like, so then I sent her a text later. I was like, I ended up not going to bed. I just played games, and I'm going to bed now. And I sent her a text. I'm like, alright. That way I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just said that I'm playing games. So I was like, let me make this right. I was like, because I don't like when people do it to me, and they do that I'm fine stuff, and they're like those little lies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Those bother me. So I'm like, why did I do that? I was like, okay, let me fix that. So then I just don't cap.
That's funny though.
So I'm staying up way too late. But now that's what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm gonna be staying up all night.
Well, I'm super glad one of my coworkers, like, kind of took the rest of my shift. She just agreed to stay
Oh,
longer.
tonight?
Yeah. So she agreed to stay longer. Our schedule was so messed up today. Like, we had so many people. It wasn't thought through, but it wasn't exactly their fault because there's 2 different schedules and they just merged really weird. Like, the people didn't communicate, so a lot of stuff went weird. But anyway, they had me doing a different position than I normally do.
You're not trained for that technically though, right?
I was trained like a year and a half ago.
Which doesn't count.
Yes, which I should be formally retrained. So today they had my cross training, quote unquote, and he just put me on the floor with another person until I picked it up, and then he's like, "Oh, you're fine." Which is technically
Roadhouse just breaks a ton of laws. Just breaks so many laws, man. One day, if I make a lawyer friend at UNLV, I'm gonna see if I can go get Roadhouse. Let's see if I can get him.
You're so funny. I know
It would-
you're not
it would-
lying.
It would be so much fun to see if I could just
You'd be so satisfied.
went there and just got him. Just
Hey,
just for
got
fun,
you.
because it's like you're not gonna get no profit out of like suing him or nothing. It's like it'll be like lawyer fees is all to pay for. Like you're not gonna make no money. So I think they can see you, Kitty. Well, welcome. If you can see Kitty, I think you can see that. But
No, almost.
almost.
But anyway, she took my shift. The rest of it was probably another half an hour or so, and she let me go home early because I had.
I'm sure she probably worked over 8 hours because of it.
No. She came in at 3 or 3:30 like me.
Oh, okay. So she worked like 7.
Yeah, but she was on the phones, and so they leave first, and she was like, she traded with somebody else who wanted to be on the floor. They had too much energy, and so she was like, I actually expected to stay till closing, so she's like, if you want to go home, you can go home. I thought I was gonna stay. I was supposed to, so I was like, yeah, I for sure will. Thank you. I'm probably gonna get her boba sometime this week. Just appreciate you.
No shot. Me? No shot. I ain't never. But I actually did once. Because my ex-girlfriend was having a mental breakdown at work. And I was like, okay, let me go pick her something up. So I went to the Target next to her work and bought her some gummies and some tea and stuff and gave it to her. But my coworker was working there, and I was like, I need some not snitch stuff. So I bought her some Hasbro gummy bears, like a small pack, and some tea, and I gave it to her at once I got back to work. I gave it to her. I was like, this is that not snitch money. Now you have drug money. Now if you snitch that I left work
I
to go
can
do
call
this,
you out too.
I was like, but you got snacks from Target. I was like, how'd that happen? She was like, you brought them. I was like, I ain't never, and now I got you.
So you went to Target.
Yeah, now you're a part of this. So I bought those for her, gave it to her, and she ain't never saying nothing. I'm like, good.
Nice, nice. But I was super appreciative. Tomorrow I'm gonna get my hair done,
Hmm.
and so I'm like, yeah, I'll probably bring her boba just as like that was super sweet, and she didn't have to do that, and I had the podcast tonight. She didn't know about that, but
No, I appreciate
she also,
unknowingly helping you out.
I just found out she had a band. She sings in a band. I haven't
That's
heard it
cool.
yet.
Yeah, the boys, we want to make a band. I was talking about this with Noah on the other podcast. I'm not a band guy. I don't like the guitar and drums and all that. Like, it's cool and it sounds cool, but doing it in person is not my thing. Like, you put that on a digital screen and you give me a beat using all that I can sing over, I'm having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But you do the thing where it's like you're all in person in the garage, this little garage band thing you got going there. That's not me. No. Yeah. They're doing all that. No. But that's like their punk rock kind of thing that they want to do, and like, you know, Christian wants to sing, Noah wants to sing too, and I'm like, okay, y'all go crazy. But Noah likes bedroom music. You know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Am I the only one that doesn't? He was like, yeah, I like bedroom music. Music you can make in your bedroom. I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, you just grab a guitar and sing. And I'm like, okay. So that's the music he likes, and that's what he wants to make.
Some people think bedroom music is like different activity bedroom music.
Oh, like that?
There's different, yeah.
Oh,
I've
okay.
heard it referred to as that before too.
Oh, okay. But that's what he meant, at least.
Okay, I still know that term.
Yeah, but what I want to do is, like, I like my sad boy rap. So I want a rap beat, and then I want to write sad lyrics for it. And then do that. Like, basically Lil Peep kind of, but not as big as Lil Peep. Like,
yeah,
you know, small stuff.
I support it.
I would, but that's another project. And I just need somebody that makes beats. And my boy, Tommy, he makes beats, but he don't, like, really make rap beats. He kind of makes dubstep. So.
John does.
Oh, he makes beats?
Yeah, he makes beats.
I'm not paying for no beats, so if you want to give me beats, sure, but like.
I think he put out a lot of his stuff for free.
Yeah, I mean, I would just take a beat and have fun with it. Like,
Yeah,
that's all I'm doing.
just try
like,
it out.
If you think that your beat is gonna be successful with me, it won't. Like, no shot.
Just try it out.
But it will be. I will have a blast making it, and it's like, if you let me use it, and you can give the beat to someone else to use as well, as long as they don't copyright my song because of it. Right? Because there was like a free beat that I downloaded for the song I made for.
Oh yeah.
For a class.
I remember that.
That song is a banger, man. I love that song. And I made that song, and I put it on, played it in the class and stuff, but I used a free beat that was online. But someone, like, signed off on getting the free beat or something, and, like, officially owned the free beat or something, because it's like a buy but don't buy the beat, some shit like that.
So weird.
I don't know how it worked. But it said free beat on YouTube, download beat, put beat in mixer thing, and talk over it. That's what I did. And then I made the song, gave it, but I got copyright. They, like, claimed the video or something. I was like, bro, whatever, bro. I was like, I don't care.
Did they take it down?
No, it's just, like, whatever money the video makes, they get. Which I don't think it makes money. 'Cause I don't think my channel, I haven't, like, signed up for ads or anything. I don't know how YouTube works.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I was like, bro, it's gonna get, like, a couple hundred views, bro. Quit tripping.
I feel that.
I'm not sure, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. I was wondering something, actually. Something happened this week, and I wanted your opinion on it. Are friend dates okay?
Yeah, I think friend dates are very important in friendships, and you need to, like, be able to just go out with each other and, like, be a vibe. Be like, hey,
okay,
this is my friend. Like, we go out, especially if you're the same sex. That's cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're, like, gay in your relationship or whatever. But it's like if you're a boy and you're dating a girl, you and your boy should be able to just go out together. No problem, right? But you should also be able to do that with a girl, a friend that's a girl. it's just you got to make sure your significant other is comfortable with that person and like knows it's like it's jealousy's whatever, man. It goes away with age.
Well, me too. I think that it's fine. Um, I know plenty of people who go brunch with the girls or gym with the guys or me and you've done a photo shoot or things like that. But then I feel like there's a line.
100%.
I watched on Facebook. It was someone's birthday, and she went out on a quote unquote like friend date with my other friend's boyfriend, and they were all like dressed up and like matching, and she was in like a sexy ass dress, and just the pictures made me feel some type of way for like my friend, and I was like, I don't, that's sus. And I was like, it's clearly stated like friend date and everything, and I'm like, but it looked so much like a real date. I'm like, I don't think I'd be down with that.
Yeah, that's where it's like you got to be comfortable with it, right? It's like, hey, if y'all gonna go out, don't do that fancy stuff. Just kind of like dress up casual and go out. It's like, keep that fancy dating to when you with your boys or something like that, or when you with your girls.
Or at the very least, like, don't post it all over social media.
Nah, bro, don't fucking tell me what to post and not to post. I would be like, bro, you tripping. Just, if you're not comfortable.
I mean, I guess.
Like, if you're not comfortable, you would only be comfortable with me going out and doing that if I went out and did that and I didn't post it, right? So it's like, oh, because other people know this happened, now it's a problem. I'm like, bro, you tripping.
Okay, that's a point. Like, because
it's like,
it would still bother me.
I don't give the slightest fuck about anybody else except for except for the girl I'm dating. So if she's mad at me, then like, okay. I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have went out with that person. Like, I understand. I won't do that. I won't dress up with them. None of shit like that. Like, I'll just be casual. We hanging out, whatever. Okay, like I won't do shit like that makes you uncomfortable and stuff. Like, I just be official with you. I'm like, okay, if that makes you uncomfortable, I don't do it. But like, okay, and then there's when you go out with a friend and it's like they're comfortable with it and it's like you can dress up and do that and yada yada, it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's like the social media, I guess, changes things because with some people it's different because it's like you don't want people to talk about you or whatnot, yada yada. It's like I don't want people to talk saying that you guys are out together like this and they think you're dating now when you're with me and stuff. I don't want talks like that. Okay, sure. Like, situations are situational and you can feel how you want, but I feel like it's important that a relationship is just a relationship, and it's communicate to me, talk to me, tell me how you feel and shit.
Yeah,
So I think friend dates are okay and all that.
As long as you communicate.
Just talk about what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable. It's
boundaries.
If you're not, yeah, boundaries are so important, man. So if you're not comfortable with them even going on friend dates, just mano a mano with another person of the same sex, just let them know. Because my girlfriend like hit me up and she was hanging out with one of her best friends, and like it was her best friend and like two other boys there, and they were gonna go drink wine together, or they were gonna hang out, but she wanted to drink wine, but they didn't really want to drink wine, but she was trying to get them to drink wine, and I was like, okay, like I don't care, go have fun, like drink, have some fun. You stress all the time, like I'm not tripping, bro. Like, you ain't gonna cheat on me, bro. Ain't no shot.
Ain't no way.
And if you do, shit, I'm gone. Ain't never gonna see me again. Shit, shorty, I ain't mad. Fuck out of you.
I'm raising my bar. Like what's it called? My standards and my expectations are so much higher than they have been. And I want to stay with that energy, like in a healthy way. Like how some people set their bars out in the sky.
You were in the situation where normal ball's here, you're here, right, and you're coming up. You're like more here now, right? But like normal people, like some girls are like, my bar is higher now, and I'm so happy, and they're like up here, and they went up to here. I'm like, are you tripping?
That's a little high.
Yeah, you need to have a bar. You need to have a standard of like, I expect to be treated like a human. I expect to be treated with respect. I expect like yada yada, like. I expect you to care, not cheat. Like, all things like that are standard things to expect in a relationship. But some people are like, I expect you to always buy gifts for me. Yeah, it's like, okay,
that's rough.
now you trip. That stuff you
If
ask
you don't
for.
get me Louis Vuitton, then
That's it
it's not
that you
it.
need to earn. You need to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that straight up. So,
Okay.
relationships is a lot of communication to me, and like finding the person that fits you and stuff. Because some people don't like to communicate like that. Like some people like, because my mind works weird. Sometimes I'm on a vibe level where I'm just there. I don't want. I'm like communicating. I'm being soft and I'm being that. Other times I turn man mode. I'm like, bro, I'm hard. Like I'm an old school classical man now. I feel like being a guy. I don't want to talk about my feelings. I don't want to do none of that. And I feel like being stubborn, hard-headed. It's like that's how I feel like right now. But like I've learned and grown up that like, hey, you can talk about your feelings. You can be like that. So sometimes I'm in the element. Other times I just fall into the old ways and I'm acting like a man.
But you're trying. You're growing and.
I'm trying, but also I'm not trying to not be who I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm a mix of both, so I act like both, and you gotta understand that there's times when
I just want to be like myself. Like
yeah, I'm being me.
My feeling, like everyone's feelings fluctuate, and so we can't expect someone to be the same exact person in the same exact mood 24/7.
Yeah.
And that's normal.
And it's like you have your ups and downs, and people never expect you to have downs, like. Because you're such a... That sounded bad. Like, you're such a positive person all the time. You're like a ray of sunshine to exterior, like, all that time. But it's like, you get stressed, you get worn down, you get angry and stuff. But, like, people that aren't that close to you will never see that sometimes.
And I remember I had class, and I used to dress, like, pretty preppy for class, and I was just not feeling it one day. Like, I was in a good mood and everything, but I didn't wake up early, and I just wanted to be comfy, so I wore sweats and, like, an oversized band t-shirt and threw my hair up into a bun. Literally all day people asked me what was wrong. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm such a myself person that I can show up dressed to the teeth, or show up dressed like an absolute bum, and people never ask me what's wrong. Like, I'm just...
always Dre?
Yeah, I'm vibe central at all times. It's like...
Vibe central?
Dre is Dre, man. Like, I got what I got at all times.
You should, like, sell stickers. Like, merch. Vibe central.
I'm sure that's a thing. There's no way I came up with that.
Okay, but it's cool.
It is.
Maybe we can make, like, a logo.
That would be your job. I ain't doing that. Like, I made a couple of the thumbnails for the videos, like the little Thanos glove and those were fun, like, but my brain power is not there. Like, I cannot do that.
That's as deep as it goes.
That's as deep as it goes. Like those look like the art style is supposed to be bad. They're like, oh, I like this aesthetic where it's supposed to be bad. Like, oh, this is so...
aesthetic.
No, that's just me not knowing how to draw. Like, that's my top tier. Like, that's best I could do right there. So...
I love them. They look great.
Yeah. So making a logo, no, not for me. I would like to make a logo though and put it on the channel. I think that would be really cool. Because right now it's just an M, and I'm like, I mean, I guess, but like.
I'll work on it.
Yeah, I don't have the skills.
But I think that's a good place to leave off for today.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Awesome.
I had a good time and I chatted about stuff.
I had fun too. I need to get some stuff off my chest.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate y'all coming in. Hopefully the camera worked well. Hopefully I looked in between Artemis and you guys a correct amount. And, like, I gave you guys attention and her attention at the same time. Because when you're talking to someone, especially when I'm talking to you, I want to talk to you and look at you. But, like, I want to, like, when I'm talking in general, I kind of want to look at the camera as well. But I talk a lot in second person. So I try and talk to you. And that's how I write my essays and stuff, too. So I wanted to look at them too as well, and I hope it worked well, and I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I hope I can edit this well.
I think you did good.
Hopefully the audio isn't weird and it matches up nicely.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe
Now,
we'll get a new tech guy.
maybe. Now I'm gonna try and pause these two at the same time, so I don't have to do any editing.
So that's a wrap.